opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the official views of Real TV, its management, or affiliates. Content is provided for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised.
To all of our local, regional and international viewers, thank you kindly for choosing us here at Real TV, where we bring reality to you. My dear friends, a very warm welcome to another edition of the program Conversations with Zelisa, where we continue to inform, educate, empower and answer those unanswered questions. I am Zelisa Budusing Rupani, humbly inviting you to sit back, relax, enjoy, get your pen, get your notebook, Real TV, so you could take notes on important numbers that would be helpful for you and your loved ones. Directing this morning and in Master Control, Nathaniel Reed. On behalf of the team, I'd like to wish each and every one of you a beautiful, blessed, productive and great day today. It's a bit overcast here in the San Juan area, but I trust all is well and you're safe indoors, and if you have no reason being on the outdoors, then be safe in the comfort of your home or your workplaces. Happy Wednesday, my friends. It's the middle of the work week, Wednesday 24th of June 2026. It is a day and time we'll never have the opportunity to ever have again, so don't procrastinate, don't waste your time. Do something productive and constructive with your day and time, all right? If you're celebrating a birthday, happy birthday. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you and yours. That's someone special. Don't take your loved ones for granted. Tomorrow is not promised. Remember to say thank you. Remember to say I love you. Remember to say I care about you. I appreciate you. These things go such a long way in making somebody's day, lifting their spirits, bringing a smile to their face, making them feel loved and appreciated, you know. And of course, let's go to our quote for today, coming to us with the kind compliments of Fab India Expo. Remember to check them out. And let's go to our quote. Loyalty isn't about words. It's about who stands with you when things get real. And I'm going to read this again to you. Listen to it carefully. Loyalty isn't about words. It's about who stands with you when things get real. You know, like we say, when you're in the middle of the storm, or you feel as if you're drowning, or you don't know how to go on. It's the people that will stand with you when you're being tested. And that's how you know what true loyalty means, yeah? Thanks for that, Nathaniel. Let's quickly go to Fab India Expo, the ad. Remember to check them out today.
Looking for something truly unique this season? Then you need to visit Fab India Expo, located opposite Medford Gas Station, Shogunas. Brand new containers have just arrived, packed with one-of-a-kind garments you won't find anywhere else. Whether you're shopping for something stylish, traditional, or custom-made, we've got you covered with made-to-order pieces tailored just for you. And it doesn't stop there. Take a stroll through our full food court, offering delicious options for the entire family. From savory bites to sweet treats, there's something for everyone. Plus, don't miss our big sale on furniture. Upgrade your home with beautiful pieces at unbeatable prices. So come on down to the Fab India Expo, located opposite Medford Gas Station, Shogunas, where culture, style and savings come together.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. To all of our local, regional or international viewers, those of you on the Tego app, you know, you could download the app for free, take it with you real time, anytime. You could view the dynamic programming here on Real TV across the board. And of course, for those of you in Canada on the Caribbean Showtime Television, thank you to the 3 million plus views that we have on Real TV. Really do appreciate it, and I ask you to continue to partner with us, like and share, because the information is excellent. Knowledge is power, and when we have great knowledge, we make better decisions, better choices. When we do that, we all enjoy better tomorrows, yeah? Today, I am in conversation with Mr. Sheldon Mason. Now, he is the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Masters of Athletics. He himself, a son of the soil and athletic and an advocate for good health, and of course, in particular, men's health. Yeah? So good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us here on Conversations.
Thank you for having me.
You know, very often, some of us, I would say, take sports for granted, but we don't realize the impact or the positivity in sports in our lives, and how it is important to get our children as well involved at a very young age in sports.
Yes, it is. Sports is something in Trinidad and Tobago that if it doesn't come with a lineman focus in it, most people generally not interested. But the terms of sports in itself, the longevity that it provides for the human body, that in itself is one of the most fundamental characteristics about sport that I love, and I know many others do share the passion, but it's not a widely accepted passion because persons believe that sports is up to a particular age and then you retire and go about your life. I don't believe in that. For the Bible says the race is not for the swift, but those who could endure it to the end. And when it comes to sports, I believe you could compete right on until you lie down.
Yeah, and you know, our topic today is basically about aging strong.
Yes.
And understanding the great benefits, the positivity, because it's also a form of discipline. And when you look at it, it's a win-win all the way around.
Yeah, and this is a quote of mine, as I always ask person, what do you think discipline is? And a lot of people believe discipline is punishment, because when you are in school or when you are home, your mother tell you, well, let your father discipline you, or in school, let the teacher discipline you, but that is not discipline, that is punishment. Discipline is a pattern of behavior that leads to success.
Beautifully said.
Yes.
I like that. Repeat it. Discipline.
Discipline is a pattern of behavior that leads to success.
Beautiful. Because it really leads to success.
It does.
And you know, when you think of it more and more, it fits into every aspect, discipline.
Of life.
Yeah.
And the sad reality is we are disciplined in a lot of negative forming habits.
Yeah.
Like there are persons, they know when the work week done and they get paid, straight to the bar and line.
Yeah.
Before they do anything else, they want to unwind. But there's so much more to discipline than means that discipline has positive effects on your life. Because it starts with simply, I remember hearing a speech one time from an admiral in the US Navy, and he said, discipline begins with making up your bed every morning.
Absolutely true. It's true.
Yeah.
The same way we learn you to get up, you brush your teeth, you have a bath. Make up your bed.
But then when we look at how we view discipline in Trinidad and Tobago, it's always that punishment aspect about it. Discipline is punishment. Discipline is not punishment. Because if you get up, you make up your bed, you brush your teeth, you bathe, you have breakfast, and you repeat these things every morning. And sometimes, even a part of your discipline pattern, you look in the mirror and you give yourself self-affirmations. I am loved, I am worthy, I can do this. Today is my day. You discipline yourself doing these things 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Over time, it becomes a positive habit.
Absolutely true. I love what you're saying because it's the truth. I'm going to go back to something that you said that just stimulated something in my mind, and that is you wait for a Friday, and the first thing you think of, I'm going by the bar, some wrongs. And if you drive past bars on a Friday on the weekend, it's packed, jam-packed. And you can't, and I'm going to say this with no regret, you can't help but think, where are the wives, where are the children, especially for those that are committed to a family, and thinking, should I not be thinking or preparing myself to do some family time? Why couldn't I be home on a Friday night watching a movie night with the children because no school on the weekend, or cooking together, or doing things family oriented? No, I'm not saying that if you choose to lime, that's fine.
Right.
But do it in moderation and with a little discipline to understand what is your priority.
And yes, and that's the thing about prioritizing self. Now, parenting in itself is a lot of work, because you have three folds in parenting. You have you as the parent, then you as the husband or the wife, and you as the individual.
Yeah.
And the individual still needs that a little amount of attention. So sometimes I myself may understand why persons will go out on a Friday, but it should not be the entirety of the Friday. Yes, you go out, you unwind for an hour or two, and then you get back into what you're doing because life continues.
Yeah.
And children also look forward to the weekend with mommy and daddy.
Correct.
Some of them, well, my sons, they look forward to the weekend for the tablets because that's the time they get
Same with mine. Same with mine. You know, as
Yeah.
Friday hit, you know, it's a relax.
It's
They,
a
they
relax.
feel, oh gosh, I have the weekend, a
Yeah.
couple of days.
So I think parents or husbands or wives who go to these establishments, it's like their tablet time. Because it's a time not to think about work or paying bills or the stress of life or the stress of relationship or even the stress of family life. So, but the thing about it only lasts but an instant, like a feeling.
You know, Mr. Morris, Mason, I can't help but think the family that prays together, plays together, you see, when you look at those families, I think what set them apart is, again, using the word of the discipline of
Yeah.
doing things
Yeah,
together.
because-
And you can't help but notice these are the families or the children that really progress in life.
Because you teach your child a pattern. That is why when you look now, a lot of parents, especially parents who are very proactive in their child's development, they don't just have them in school, they have them in music and
Extracurricular
one-
activities, yes.
So they have them things, so they know Monday to Friday, we have all these different things to do. And those who are into elite competition and the youth aspect in terms of sport, they know on weekends, mommy and daddy and us, we go into a stadium or we go into a pool or we go into an arena and we go into compete, and daddy's going to cheer me on and daddy's going to, or mommy's going to help me learn about disappointment from wins and losses.
Nice.
So, and that pattern shapes the type of person that evolves into society.
Yeah, I like that you talk about mommy or perhaps daddy, talking to your children about failures, about progress, about dealing and coping with situations that are real, that we
Yeah.
encounter every day, because we don't live in a bubble.
No, we don't. And the thing about life is, Michael Jordan said it in one time, if you want to know what success is, you first must learn what failure is. Because there's no lessons in winning, there's only lessons in failure. Because when you fail, you get the ability to now learn from your mistakes and correct it for another time when you are presented with the opportunity to win.
That is brilliant, because it's the truth. We don't understand how strong we are or push ourselves until we fail or we
Yeah.
have some negativity,
Yeah,
or we
tears
have
of
some
something.
problem or some challenge that arises, and then you ask yourself, how can I? But then you realize, I'm strong, I could do it.
Yeah.
And you build from that.
that.
You grow from that.
And because many years later, when persons look at the failures, like I could use myself as an example. Over the weekend, I competed in the Open National Championship. So there's NAATT, which is the governing body of track and field for Trinidad and Tobago that deals with more or less the athletes under the age of 30. And there's as the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Masters Association of Athletics, we deal with those 30 and over, preferably 35 and over, but 30 to 34 is like the sub-masters, and then 35 and over is the full masters category that goes all the way up to where we have one of our athletes who's 86 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, and he competed, myself and him and several others competed last year in Mexico Regional Masters Championships.
That is
and we left with,
awesome.
forgive me if I misquote, but almost 30-something medals. We got more medals actually than the athletes that are competing on the world stage.
Brilliant.
Right, so, and I competed in the long jump over the weekend, also the 400 meter, where I came 15th overall, and I came second in the long jump. And I am 42 years old now, and this is the first time in my life that I got an actual Open National Championship medal. So I'm the second longest jumper in the men's category.
Congratulations.
So that for me was an accomplishment in terms of a pattern of behavior, because I started track and field when I was 14 years old and I never stopped. Even though I never got to where I wanted to be, I just never stopped.
You started at 14.
At 14.
When you were younger, were you involved in sport or in school? Were
was
you
involved,
attracted? Were
yeah.
you know, what was it that, how did you actually get involved in sport? Where did it start?
It started with my father and my mom because they carried us to martial arts class. And my father was a novice martial artist, so he used to have us in the back doing horse stand, and you're holding the horse stand for long periods of time. You have to get strong and push-ups, and then eventually moved us to, the name of the sensei was Mr. Kudus. He still operates in Shogunas, right? Come from, we did martial arts there, and then from there I just got a liking for running. I don't know, I just like to run.
Yeah.
And I used to always ask my father, could you get me in a running club? Could you get me in a running club? And then some fathers, yes, they word them out, but actions, they always occupied with other things.
Other things get in the way.
And one day I was riding my bike, and the club was actually training in Lanch Park, Shoguna's recreational grounds. And I walked up and I was like, I would like to join. And they said, when do you want to join? I said, well, I don't know. The other guy running short thing, but they say, could join now. So join now as in barefoot. I was like, yeah. I was like, and from then,
that was the beginning of a whole new world.
The rest is a history, yeah.
Great. We're going to take a quick break. This is a program, Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV. You know, the fact is we talk about real things, and here is Mr. Mason talking to us about his life and his accomplishments. But if you listen to him, his words and this conversation is so positive, very inspiring and motivating. So stay with us. As soon as we get back, we continue our conversation with Mr. Sheldon Mason. He is the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Arts of Masters Athletics. Let's go to these messages. Stay with us.
It's Bridging the Gap with Naka, hosting every Monday to Friday, 12 to 2 p.m. right here on Real TV, where we talk about the current issues and we get into the nitty-gritty of social issues. Stay tuned right here on Real TV.
Are you looking for the right space for your business? Fred's Plaza has the space you need. We offer professional rental spaces designed for growing businesses. Conveniently located in San Juan on the Eastern Main Road, opposite the PTSC terminal and between Royal Castle and Mario's. Easy access, high visibility. For inquiries, call or WhatsApp 868-384-7142 today, or visit Level 3 Fred's Plaza for details.
In a world full of noise, choose clarity. The Real News digital publication is your choice for important news coverage. From influential figures shaping our nation to a powerful week in review that keeps you informed. The weekly edition is available for download on all of our social media platforms. Smart, sharp, essential, Real News digital publication. Stay informed, stay educated, stay empowered. Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you, to all of our local, regional and international viewers. Today I'm in conversation with a true son of this soil, a warrior, let me tell you. And it's Mr. Sheldon Mason. He is the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Masters Athletics. He himself, a very accomplished athletic, and doing exceptional work. Now today he's talking to us about aging strong. What is aging strong? But before we go into aging strong and understand that it takes a lot of discipline, as we've been using, discipline, I want to talk a little bit about the Masters of Athletics. What exactly is this? You're the president.
So the TTAMA was established long before I was born. At least 2 years before I was born. I was born in 1984. It was established in 1982. And it was established for athletes who wanted to continue to run over the age of 35. Now, this is so because there's the World Masters Association. And in August, from August 18th until September 3rd, there's World Masters Track and Field Championships in Korea, where we have a team prospect about 9 to 10 persons that's going.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but we also have to wait on grant funding from the Ministry of Sports. So we're hoping that that comes in so we can aid our athletes to go, because after a particular age, you know, they doesn't really look at you as competitive anymore in Trinidad and Tobago and most of the world. However, but World Athletics, World Masters allows for every country within the world to have their own Masters organization.
Very
and
nice.
Trinidad has been around for going on 44 years
Brilliant.
now. And I have been president since 2023. My term in office comes to end in December. And having assumed the presidency role, we have, my executive and I, we have skyrocketed the Masters attention in the local and regional, even as far as international market, because we recently held our Masters Championships on May 23rd to 24th, and we had about 8 countries visiting: USA, Mexico,
Brilliant.
Barbados, St. Lucia, BVI. I want to make sure I get everybody name. Jamaica. I'm missing Panama. Missing one more off the top of my head. Yeah, so, but we had all those countries come to Trinidad for the first time in quite some time to compete. And we also like to include the younger athletes in Trinidad and Tobago to compete in our events, because we're trying to grow our Masters numbers and encourage persons, especially those who are 30, 35 and over, to come and be a part of the sport. Because one thing is exercising, but exercising with a purpose helps you maintain a pattern of discipline in terms of when you're exercising. So when you set a goal, you could go towards it. So a lot of persons now on the 5K trend. Everybody want to run a 5K, but real persons who is into fitness or into any kind of sport knows those who run in 5K is just running for the package. You get a medal, you get a package, you get all the freebies, and it's...
What is the package and freebies?
Well, all the giveaways that they give at the 5Ks now, yeah. So everybody, you part of 5K, and everybody there to see what they could get.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas there are some persons, I know they have a group called Medal Chasers, so they only running for the medal. And then you would find the elite runners. These are the ones who you would see who actually trains for a 5K religiously. Then you have the casual runners who run 5K as a part of their fitness journey, right? Who want to improve their times. And then you just have those who come out to do a little regular amount of exercise to keep the heart and the lungs and everything functioning. But when it comes to Masters, we want to capture everybody to let them know, hey, you remember in primary school when you used to come and just run 100 meter whole day, who faster? That's what we want them to do. And then it have things like shot put and javelin and discus and long jump. Every track and field sport there is for a younger person, Masters compete in it as well.
Brilliant.
And Trinidad Masters has been around since 1982, and we have been doing a great job for the last 3 years, being more recognizable within the community.
So you were 14
Yes.
when you got involved and first started
running.
What was that experience like at that age?
It was interesting because a lot of people think running is just having speed, but it's actually running thousands of meters and hundreds of miles to run. If you're running the 100 meter, to run 10 seconds or 9 seconds. If you're running the 200 meter, to run 20 or under 20 seconds. If you're running the 400 meter, it's to run under 50 seconds. And you invest time and energy, and running is a complete exercise because everything has to be strong, from your ankles to your knees, to your hip, to your back, to your shoulders. Everything contributes to you being a holistic runner and better and stronger. So you don't just run. You still have the nutrition aspect of it. You have the recovery aspect of it. You have the strengthening aspect of it. And the same aspects that you would use as an individual person just maintaining your health, the same thing at a higher intensity when you're a track athlete. So it was something that I enjoyed. It actually fortifies your mind because a lot of the training is not just for speed and endurance, but to strengthen your will and to give you grit. Because when you run in a 400 meter like myself, and you finish the first 300 meters and you have 100 meters to go, and your coach say, when that fat lady jump on your back, which is it's a turbulent sport because it's something where you would see people literally just, you see the whole body like a whole weight just come on the shoulder. This is where mind and will and desire to win and to finish what you started comes in, and you could only learn that through a pattern of behavior because every time you go to train, you put your body through the rigor. So it's just conditioning the body, conditioning the mind, and it translates into real life because sports and real life go hand in hand. Because the same adversity you're going to have in sports in terms of injuries and setbacks is the same adversities you're going to have in life in terms of setbacks.
Very, very true.
So it was, for me, it helped me become a better person over time, and it helped me navigate life because there are times when you want to give up. And ironically, it's Men's Mental Health Month.
It is.
And I am pro men all the time. And most times we are only concerned with men's mental health when the negative side effects of it comes out. The things when you hear about the domestic violence and the suicides and men doing all the negative coping mechanisms, that's the only time we hear about it. But for men like myself who engage in sport and activities, sport and exercise is a nice conduit to release stress, to process anger, to put yourself down a path where, hey, you won't give up easily because mentally you are stronger in that position and you could reevaluate things because the number one cause of death for men now, especially over a particular age bracket, is suicide.
Suicide.
And sports and physical fitness helps with that.
Depression, mental health is real.
Yeah.
And the first thing people think when you say mental health, cuckoo, you belong in the
No.
And that is far from the truth.
No, it's really far from the truth because mental health starts with kindergarten. My sons, I have 3 sons, 1 in kindergarten, 2 in primary school, and they go through their stuff. Because children coming from different social backgrounds will come and interact with them differently. How are they going to react to them when this is not something they are accustomed at home?
Absolutely true.
And that's why I believe that sports, because it allows children to understand the difference between winning and losing. But then some parents cannot decipher because they believe their child must always win, which sets them up for failure later down in life. And that's when mental health issues come in.
Brilliant, and that's very, very true. People will often think, well, what career could I have? Because there are people who are very passionate about sports. Let me tell you something. In India, when it's cricket season, that sport, that cricket becomes their religion, you know.
Well, it's a religion here in Trinidad too, you know. And when we look at sports in Trinidad, sports is cultural and ethnic based. So when you go to cricket in Trinidad, it's very Indo-centric. When you go to football and track and field, it's very Afrocentric.
Why is that?
It's a science.
It's a science.
It's a science because certain sports require more muscular frame, and scientifically they say the Afrocentric person has the better muscular strength for sprinting and long sprints and jumps and stuff like that, which is proven to be 50-50 because now in javelin, one of the lead throwers in javelin comes from India and Pakistan and these countries, these Asian countries. But then when you look at cricket, they could bowl as well. So they have the propensity to throw fast, throw further. And it's just a cultural difference. When you go in Africa, most of the times they are running because they have to run for their meals. There's a tribe that runs their prey down until the prey can't run no more. That is why certain African countries excel at distance running in the Olympics.
Well, I'll say this. Brian Lara,
Yes.
the king himself,
Yes, he is.
in certain parts, I've had this experience firsthand many times in India, so that's why I use it as an example. When people ask you, where are you from? Because even though you may look Indian, we speak differently.
Yeah.
So where are you from? Oh, Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago.
Brian
The
Lara.
minute I say Brian Lara,
That's it.
would you like a chai? Would you like something to drink?
Yeah.
Because he is a hero and a boss of bosses, right?
And going along on the question you asked, how do you make a living in sports? Brian Lara, Dwayne Bravo. After
Bravo,
they
our
are, when you
boys.
go in these countries, you see billboards with them.
Oh, they are lords there.
There are loads. Now, even if you're not in sports, there's physiotherapy, there's massage therapists. Some of the
So many branches.
so many branches, because some of the best physiotherapists or even massage therapists that goes with these 2020 cricket teams are from Trinidad.
Now, the reason I'm asked that question and I'm speaking about it is because there are many parents out there, their child may say, well, the child is involved and loves sport and it's their passion. And they may go to their parents and say, well, I want to do sports. This is what I want to do. This is what I love to do. And then the parents are saying, but how are you going to survive? How you'll take care of your family? How you understand? And we need to break
that cycle, because what happens is we look at sports as if you are competing, you are in sports. But there's a sports psychologist. So when you listen to Jerome Richards speaks, in every interview after his race, he speaks with his family, he prays to God, and then he speaks with his sports psychologist. So some persons may not be physically able to be in that top 1% of elite performers, but they might be intellectually and spiritually inclined to motivate an athlete to be more than what they can be based on their life experience and then with the education. So if you are just say an average performer in sports, you could averagely get a scholarship and then chart your way in sports science, sports management, because they need an agent.
so many different branches
different avenues
and opportunities.
But we like to focus.
We
so
limit
much.
ourselves
we
in our
limit.
thinking.
Yeah.
This is a program, Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV, having a real conversation with Mr. Sheldon Mason. He is the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Masters Athletics. Let's go to these important messages. When we return, we continue our conversation. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, young people, senior citizens, it is my pleasure and privilege to invite you to look at the program Inspired on Real TV at 2 p.m. every Wednesday afternoon. Inspired is designed to lift your spirits, to help you overcome depression and failure so you could be an outstanding, extraordinary success. We have special experts every Wednesday who will inspire you to do better, to be your best self. So may God bless you. And remember, every Wednesday at 2 p.m., please look out for the program Inspire.
Let's get straight to the point. I am Dale Edwards, Dale the Voice, and we're going to get straight to the point right here on Real TV. Join me Monday to Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. when we talk the hard truth. We're not beating around the bush. We're getting straight to the point, dealing with real issues, social, politics, and much more. Monday to Friday, the only place to be is right here on Real TV.
The Ambassador's Daughter, weekdays at 11 a.m., only on Real TV.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you, to all of our local, regional and international viewers. Thank you so much for choosing us, allowing us to influence you in a positive way, add value. Speaking of value and knowledge and power and information, our guest today is certainly a true son of the soil and very, very much inclined to motivating and inspiring young people, especially young people. And I'm speaking of Mr. Sheldon Nason. Now, he is the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Masters Athletics, being an athletic himself, and a father and a son of the soil, and very much consumed with many hats. Very focused, I have to say, and very, very motivating. And I believe we need to have more conversations with young men like yourself, who could help navigate, who could help steer, who could help some of the problems that we are facing with our children. And I'm not just talking about our sons, I'm talking about our daughters as well. That if they are in the right environment, or they're channeled into the right place where they could express themselves, where they could get in some, I've always said, sports and music and arts and dance and things like that is part of the solution in helping our lost children.
It's always a part of the solution, but also a part of the solution is parents taking an active role, because kids can't do it on their own anymore.
You're absolutely correct. It starts in the home.
Yeah, because
it starts in the home, and the choice is the choice your father made to get you in martial arts, and then into steering you and you know, helping you to evolve to be the man that you are today.
Because I remember growing up, you know, anything that you want to get involved in, the child was the one to always go and spearhead it, and then the parents would come along and then support it. For me, track and field, cadets, anything to do with youthful activity, I went and found out the information, and then I brought it to mom, and then mom and dad went, and we all got involved.
Yeah, as a team.
But now children are being placed into things that they don't necessarily like or they're interested in it, but because their parents wanted to do it when they were younger, they put the child in it, which is a good and a bad.
Well, I honestly come from a place and thinking that each individual is special and unique with their own dreams and their own goals. And I don't subscribe, or I don't support parents wanting their children to live their dreams. I believe in freedom. I believe in it is a duty and a responsibility of the parents first and foremost to instill the right morals and values, to inculcate that into their lives. It is they made the choice to have children, and so they need to make the choice for the rest of their lives to be parents, to ensure you have a solid foundation, a good, loving, clean environment, a nice home, food, well-rounded home, right? And so I also believe you ensure that your child is educated, you ensure that your child is cultured, well-rounded, mannered, but you also are there at one point. When you know you've done that job, you release and let them live their life and their dreams, because they have their dreams, not ours.
I know I agree with everything you said, and I support it 100%. But when we live in a society like Trinidad and Tobago, where not every parent knows what culture is, and not every parent knows what morals and values are. Because I remember one time in a class in UE, the lecturer for, I can't remember the course, the class was always full. And he said, do not put in your people morals and values, because morals and values are subjective to the parent or society you come from, or your social background. And we see that in Trinidad, because in some parts of Trinidad, drinking and liming after work and liming with your children, that's a part of the vibe. That is morals. And then imagine me, who grew up in church, coming to meet a friend who father allowing him to drink, but my father don't allow me to drink. So that's a different clash. So then we have to know how to navigate that. We have to also teach our children that, listen, not everybody is going to be raised the way you are raised. But we have to also teach them how to accept and to understand the difference and the variety that exists within our society. And because that doesn't happen, this is where the differences happen. This is where children stray from what they know. Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go, so when they old, they should not depart. But there is a point where even when you train your child holistically to exist in a positive meaning in society, they still will stray from the path. May not be big strays, but the stray will put themselves at risk of something negative happening to them. And they will have to now utilize the training that mommy and daddy would have bestowed or instilled in me to navigate how they get back to the path that they want to. Now, sport is one thing that helps persons stay on that line, right? Because when you have a goal in mind, even though your path may deviate, if your eyes is focused on the goal, you come back on stream, you come back to the path that you want to go down to make sure that at the end, you benefit, your family benefits, everybody in your space benefits. And then we also have to look to how is that path causing children or young people to stray from that goal. What is the government doing? These are questions that needs to be answered because the government is there to govern the land. But I also believe in self-governance. I am my own Ministry of Health, I am my own Ministry of Sport, I am my own Ministry of National Security. So the decisions that I make will affect all of my ministries. However, the decision that the government make will affect how I impact my ministries.
You're absolutely correct. I see your point, and it makes sense.
So we have to teach our children those things, right? And we have to learn that we can't depend entirely on the government, but the government is there to make sure and put things in place so that when I make decisions for my sovereign territory, that my sovereign territory can expand, it can grow, it can go international, it can go regional, I can add value to society. My offsprings can now come and add value to society. There are programs in place for me to develop my sport. If I'm playing football, but I'm not the best footballer, then there's an avenue where they say there's coaching. Because that's the next way to keep people in sport and create jobs and facilitate, but we don't put value on these things. Value is still placed on the position jobs, doctor, lawyer, police, these things. But if we are leaving all those grassroots people like those coaches and those mentors and those mediators in between, and we are not valuing them for their time, because time is money, money is time.
Exactly. And they are the real influencers.
And they are the real influencers. You could come on social media and talk how much you want, but if you do not have 5 good mentors in a community, you are losing 100 youths in an instant.
You're correct, because then our children gravitate to the wrong heroes.
And then, because the mentors are not being remunerated as they should for their efforts, or they don't feel appreciated, or they don't get their wants met, because if I am mentoring but I am suffering, I have to go where I'm not suffering. So now I have to change my path to somewhere where I can be financially stable to think. But in moving away, when those mentors turn to save themselves, we lose the young. What happened to the young people that they were mentoring?
Absolutely true. I know there are teachers that are so passionate about giving back and inculcating the right morals and values into their lives. Not their children,
No.
It's not their kids. And they go into their pockets to help these children. And it's because they're just passionate about it. You're correct. So if we don't ignite, or we don't support, or we don't help, and we don't part as such people, those people that you say that influence and shape the minds of our youth, then it's lost. Then we don't say, then we're losing our children rapidly.
And then this is where masters come in, because most of the masters athletes are mentors in different clubs, because I will train myself, but I will go to different stadiums or different clubs to which I will train with. And when the young people see you, because now you're established, because I didn't get to go to college, to go on scholarship and go and run out in the US and represent Trinidad all over the place. I am doing that in my mature years. But in the times where things wasn't going right, I had to have a backup plan.
Right.
So I had to go and work. So while my friends were in college and running meets and representing Trinidad and probably getting funded, I was working and going back to school and getting my education and building a business and starting something. So by the time they come back, they just come back from competing, while I have already built a life. So then when young people see someone like myself or other masters like myself training, they say, how did you do it? I say, well, I didn't get to go to school, but I did this and this, because they are thinking now, because of their circumstances, they may not be able to make it to scholarship.
Yeah.
So, but look at this masters athlete who still run track for their entire adult life and was still able to make something while enjoying the sport that they love. And this is where, again, we go back to discipline.
I really admire you and your passion for what you do and your passion for helping people, igniting that flame in them to shine.
Yeah, because my belief is you are only one decision away from being who you are intended to be.
Oh, this man is great. Let's go to these important messages. This is the program Conversations with Zelisa. I'm having a very deep and important conversation, a conversation that we should all listen to. Take some pages from his book and apply it so that we could help save Trinidad and Tobago. When I say help save Trinidad and Tobago, I talk directly about our children, the flowers of our nation, who are our future leaders. Let's go to these messages. I am Zelisa Rupani, inviting you to join me for the rebirth of Apne Sitare, Our Stars, a vibrant and spectacular show celebrating the incredible local talents of the sons and daughters of Trinidad and Tobago. Experience the beauty of our culture through singing, dancing, and musical performances as we keep the arts alive and shining bright. Tune in right here on Real TV every Sunday from 1 p.m. for Apne Sitare, Our Stars. See you there.
A pleasant good day to one and all. I am Pastor John Arjun, pastor and founder of Passion for His Presence Ministries. I am so happy and delighted that you could join me here on Real TV every Sunday morning at 7 for the inspirational program Breakfast and Bible. I am so happy and delighted also to come into your homes, to come into your television sets on Sunday mornings at 7 for the program Breakfast and Bible on Real TV.
Are you looking for the right space for your business? Fred's Plaza has the space you need. We offer professional rental spaces designed for growing businesses. Conveniently located in San Juan on the Eastern Main Road, opposite the PTSC terminal and between Royal Castle and Mario's. Easy access, high visibility. For inquiries, call or WhatsApp 868-384-7142 today, or visit Level 3 Fred's Plaza for details.
Behind every mistake, there's a person. And behind every struggle, there's a story waiting to be told. This is Redemption, a road to rehabilitation and recovery, where honesty meets hope and change begins. I am Prem Badri. I was a part of the problem, and now I want to be part of the solution. So join me on Real TV every Thursday at 6 p.m. See you there.
Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you, to all of our local, regional and international viewers. Again, the 3.1 million views. Thank you. You made it possible. It's all because of you, the viewers, and I ask you to please like and share because it's great information, right? Knowledge is power. And when we as parents or adults understand things in a different way, think outside of the box, we make better decisions, not just for ourselves, but for our children as well, to help them to get on the path to success, to growth, to be well-rounded, cultured young men and women that we are proud to say will be the leaders of our tomorrow. Welcome back. In conversation with Mr. Sheldon Mason, and Mr. Mason is the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Masters Athletics. He himself, he could be a good motivational speaker.
I actually am.
Very nice. I think that's a blessing, and you're doing things, and we really need, honestly, more people like yourself stepping up and really making a difference in the lives of our youth.
I believe that, I remember in school they was always telling, you are the future. I can remember I going Cafe Chai, my junior sec, sitting down in the back on the bench and somebody in front talking, you are the future. And in primary school in Montrose government and shows, you are the future. And I was like, what do you mean? Now I am living that future. And I always remember wanting to give back to young people, wanting to give back to society on a whole. So everything that I am and everything that I do is to always, it's people focused and people centered, to give back, to inspire, to allow persons to be more than they can be. The reason why I'm part of the Masters Association, being president, is to, I believe that Masters in itself, Masters Association, have a way of bridging the gap in terms of all sports, not just track and field, but also showing young people there is so much more to life than what you are seeing projected on social media and on things. Yeah, nothing wrong with a party, nothing wrong with going to a carnival event, nothing wrong with having fun. But what is the intent? What is the purpose? What is the legacy behind who you are when you live this life, when you leave this life? I was in the stadium and one of the young men asked me this weekend, he said, President, you don't want to give nobody a chance or you want to wrestle? I say, brother, when I close my eyes on my last day on the planet, I must rock back and say, I have done all that I have done. I have left nothing on the table. Now, I grew up in Crown Trace Enterprise where drugs and guns is just as prominent in Laventille and Sealots and around Trinidad and Tobago. I had the opportunity to make those negative choices. I remember when I was younger, I had a temper issue. Up to this day, I have authority, so I don't like people to dictate my pace too much.
You like me?
Yeah, no, you don't want that. But you have to understand that everybody has a role and a purpose, and every decision has a consequence. It's whether you can live with those consequences. I was listening to the news in the US about the young man who killed the rapper because he was from a different area and they didn't like it.